Hello! Today's tutorial will be on the makeup I did for Rita Ora for a performance. She was performing on stage, so it all needs to be really long wearing and have a bit of an impact from a distance. I did it through MAC events team, so all of the products I'm using are MAC. Please let me know if you need any advice on anything else or if you want me to cover anything else. But I hope you enjoy, and here we go! For Rita Ora's skin, I wanted it to be really long wearing. She already has incredible skin, so I was lucky, it was an easy job. I used MAC Pro Longwear Concealer all over the face as a foundation because she was really performing, so it needed to be very long wearing. I'm not going to use that on my skin today just because I tend to react to it. I get a little breakout, so I'm not using that today. But instead, I'm starting off with MAC Prep and Prime Radiance. Now I did use this primer on her just to smooth over the skin. I'm mixing two colours, NC35 and NC15. You'll notice I'm a little bit browner today if you know me. I'm naturally NC15, but I used a little bit of Face and Body foundation in C4 on my chest just so I looked a little bit closer to Rita Ora's skin tone. To give it a little bit more of a glow, I'm going to go back in with MAC Select Moisture Cover Concealer, just to take down a bit of the matteness and give a bit more coverage. Now moving on to the eyes, I'm using the Pro Longwear Concealer. You could use the moisture cover, but where it is moisturising it could move your eyeshadow around a little bit, so this one does stay in place. Next I use Groundwork Paint Pot, the eyeshadow base, to get it all lasting and locked into place and give the eyeshadow something to adhere to. For the highlight on the centre of the eye I used MAC Vanilla Pigment. And I did put a tiny bit just for a central highlight. All over the lid I used One to Watch Pro Longwear eyeshadow, which is a really pretty peachy undertone to it. Then blend it out with the 217 brush. Using an angled brush and dip down fluid line, I just really roughly worked it along the lash line to help it stay in place and get a nice smoky base. Then using a pencil brush, I'm just pressing a little bit of Ground Brown, which is a matte rich brown, on top of that liner. Using a bit of Saddle eyeshadow just to really soften those lines and then add a bit more definition through the crease. Then I used a bit of Wedge eyeshadow just to blend it all out. I know I'm a bit greedy. You don't have to use this many eyeshadows, you could always miss out a step or use One to Watch to blend it out. Now just using a little bit of Bioderma to clean it up a bit. I'm using a little bit of Mineralized Skin Finish Natural Powder as a highlight and just to soften the edges a bit more. For the liner I'm using Black Track Fluid Line, which is a gel based liner. Now when you're doing liner it's important to sort of line it up following your bottom lash line, as opposed to if I was to follow that it would really go down, I'd get a really droopy eye, so try and visually follow that line there. clean up the shape of the liner, I'm using Studio Finish concealer and a flat edge definer, and you can use the angle of that where it's quite straight just to pull it along so you've got a really nice sharp line. Over the top of the black track fluid line, I'm going to use Liquid Last liner from MAC because this one is really water resistant. It makes it even blacker. But the only thing is, once it's on, it's really hard to correct because it's so waterproof. Before I go back in with the liner and the waterline, I'm just going to use a little bit of a highlight just to brighten around the eyes a bit more. I use Prep and Prime Natural Radiance. It's like a little highlighting pen. Then a bit more of the Pro Longwear Concealer, a bit more coverage just in that inside area. Roughly scribble a bit of Graph Black in your waterline and doing the top lash line. Then blend it out with your pencil brush. Just press in a bit of One to Watch eyeshadow over the top of that. Now going in with a little bit of mascara. I used false lash mascara on Rita, but I don't have that at the moment, so I used a bit of Zoom Lash today. This one's quite thick, so you don't need a lot because I'm going to go back in with false lashes. I used the MAC 36s and then number 7s on top, but I don't have them in stock at the moment, so I'm just using Ardell 120 lash. I'm just using a bit of mascara over the top just to make the lashes a bit more dramatic and mesh the false lashes to my natural lashes. The highlighter was Vanilla Pigment from MAC. This is good because it's a nice multi-use product. So you can use it on the eyes, the skin. I went for it with the highlighter because, as I say, it was on stage, so I wanted it to really pop. But I didn't really want a cream because I didn't want her hair to stick to it. Down the centre of the nose and on the Cupid's bow. This is Harmony blush used as a contour. And again I went a bit stronger. Blend it out and add a bit more warmth. This is Give Me Sun bronzer from MAC. The blusher I used was Dainty Mineralize, which is so pretty on so many different skin tones. It's a peachy pink with a slight sheen. For the brows I'm going to do it darker than I would usually. Rita Ora naturally has quite dark brows, so I just added a bit more definition with a spiked eyebrow pencil. I don't want mine to be too dark, so this is just starting off with Fling brow pencil. Then just a tiny bit of spiked brow pencil, mainly on the arch. Then for lips I use Cherry Lip Pencil and MAC Ruby Woo lipstick. MAC Ruby Woo is a retro matte, so it is really lovely and matte and velvety finish. For this reason though, it makes it a little bit harder to apply, so I tend to apply it straight from the bullet, and with the cherry lip liner I just worked it all over the lips. They're a perfect match, cherry lip liner and Ruby Woo. So you really want this red to be really opaque and really packed on, so go for it. Put loads on. Then I went back with a lip brush just around the edges, just to make sure it was nice and neat. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you picked up a few tips and techniques. Please let me know if there's anything else you want me to cover, but I hope to see you very soon. Thank you. Bye!